Welcome, 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 welcome everyone to Chat with Nessa. I am so happy and grateful now that I finally have Danyel Surrency Jones. This woman is phenomenal, and she's a good friend of my friend Cheryl Roseborough, another powerhouse. And I want to welcome you. Thank you, because you are a busy, busy woman, and I want to introduce the world. They already know who you are, but on my platform, I want people to know that you are a proclaimed vision chaser. We're going to talk about that this evening. Business strategist and philanthropist. Very important. And you have had 2 decades of executive leadership and sales and marketing experience, but really, I really want to talk about PowerHands, the CEO and co-founder of PowerHands, a global product tech company that designs innovative solutions for athletic um, and rehabilitation training. And I want to talk a lot about PowerHands plus what you do in the community. So welcome, welcome, and thank you for taking the time.
Oh, Nessa, thank you for having me and congratulations on this awesome platform that you're providing for so many women.
Women in powerhouses like yourself who give back to the community, who have a vision and a purpose, and are children of God, number one. That's the number one title. And so
Well, thank
that's what
you.
I focus on, women of faith, women who are making things happen, and that is definitely you. And I'm not going to keep you long because I know your schedule's packed, but I want to get to know you better myself. I've heard so many wonderful things about you, but I want to start the conversation with growing up in your childhood. Did you ever have a vision early in life of becoming an entrepreneur or businesswoman?
That's so funny that you say that. So I will probably reflect back to maybe when I was 5 years old. I got a glimpse of being an entrepreneur when I asked my father to build me a lemonade stand. And not only did I sell lemonades in the community, but I don't know if you're familiar with honey drippers, Nessa, but we used to take Kool-Aid and pour it in a cup and you put it in the freezer and
Oh,
freeze.
yes, yes.
Yep. And then you pop it out and turn it upside down, where I used to sell those at my stand. So that was my first taste of being an entrepreneur, but I had no clue. No clue, right? My vision after high school was to be a nurse anesthetist or a nurse practitioner. And then I wanted to be a ballerina. So I used to answer that question. I'm going to be a nurse anesthetist or practitioner by day and then a ballerina by night. Truly, I think back, right, my dreams were blinded by what I couldn't see. We are a product of our environment, and I knew that I wanted to serve, and my neighbor was a nurse. And so that path I could see and was evident for me. But I was completely blinded by understanding my gifts and then reaching a profession and a career path that tapped into my true gifts.
Wow, that's powerful. Wow, that's a powerful statement, what you just said, tapping into your true gifts. And since that time, you've had a great journey, 20 years in leadership and
Mm.
dynamic. Can you talk about how your leadership of 20 years in marketing and leadership has led to becoming a CEO and building a brand?
Yeah, absolutely. When I left high school, I then got my undergrad in, I started in nursing school, realized that I needed to be on the business side of healthcare, got my undergrad at University of Central Florida, and then went on to get my MBA. And I worked in the medical device field for almost 2 decades. And I basically got tapped or raised my hand for many what I call stretch roles. So I've done everything within the medical device realm for Fortune 500 companies such as Philips Medical Systems, Medtronic, under sales training and development, product development, operations, national accounts, sales and marketing executive, ran an integrated marketing communications department, was the first African-American woman to be president of an employee resource group called Excel within this Fortune 500 company. And, growing up in those days, right, it was a white male dominated field. And so breaking through my own glass ceiling, which I call your brain, and understanding the capabilities of yourself, right? I was truly doing those things and building my skill sets for what I'm doing today. I never really thought about aspiring to be a CEO because of the title. my complete mindset was I simply wanted to serve, and the desires of my heart was never the title. It was always serving through my gifts. And I am humbled that God has entrusted me to have a leadership position for several decades, and having that opportunity for others to see the gifts that He's put in me through leadership.
Powerful. And that's something a lot of the women who've been on chat with Nessa for 11 months have in common. God is first, using the gifts, and the vision is not about you, it's about serving others.
Right.
And then he gives you the favor really comes because you put him first and you have a desire to serve others. So that's such a powerful test. Look, my mom was a minister for 40 years. So just,
Aha.
yeah. So I really believe in the women and the vision that God gives women and men. But I see that's the common denominator. God's first in your life and you have a vision to serve others. That's very powerful. Now, you're known as the vision chaser. I really want you to get into and expound upon your little title, Vision Chaser. That's very powerful, Vision Chaser. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I gave myself that title when I started getting compliments from other people that truly said that hey Danielle, you are a visionary, right? And as women, we really don't accept our ability to be a visionary. Rolling up our sleeves and being a helpmate and executing, yes, and an implementer all day long. But a visionary, we don't. And I coined myself as a vision chaser because it simply means like having the ability to plan for the future, but then chasing it with your faith leading the way,
Mm.
right? Your faith leading the way, not what you see, not what you think you're supposed to have, right? Not what someone else tells you you're supposed to have, but your faith leading the way to that vision.
Wow. Your many years of management and leadership, what are some of the key success stories you could share, like one or two success stories? And how has it felt being a woman in leadership, even like you said, in a male dominated industry? Were the stretch roles you accepted, was that stretching your faith as well? And that led to your skill set that you have today as a CEO and executive?
Oh, Nessa, absolutely it has. I reflect back in my early years of my career, and I really, I laugh because I was not my authentic self. I didn't realize that leading from within was my true power. I didn't know how to truly be Danielle throughout my career in medical device because I was seeing, so many other people that weren't as accepting, right, of who I thought they wanted me to be. And so I was conforming to my environment instead of fearlessly leading with my own power and my brilliance. And once I realized that, then I was able to be more creative, be more innovative, really take my leadership to the next level, and as well as my creativity. So I would say that when I think about some of the leadership lessons that I learned is definitely leading from within and understanding that my authentic power is associated with my heart. And those emotions are great for women, right? I would say another is, now in this leadership role, I have some great people that are around me as part of our team. And what I try to do with them, because I am creative, I talk, really fast and think of a lot of ideas fast. I have to talk less and empower more. So I really want others to lead that are around me because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Leaders breed other leaders. The other, leadership lesson when I think about my career is definitely, and especially as an entrepreneur, you don't want the fear of failure to stop you from striving for excellence, right? When I think about our brand, we started shoestring budget, raised friends and family money, what the way that POWERHANDZ has grown. We did not plan for that day one. Our business plan didn't say global. Our business plan didn't say omni-channel or we didn't know that we would get the no's that we have received today, but we still pushed forward and built a brand value that is based on excellence. And that's what helped us walk through the doors that we have today.
Yes, and since you mentioned Power Hands, I want to talk about what was your vision as co-founder and CEO. What was your vision behind creating Power Hands? Your initial vision.
Yeah, so and it was truly based on one vision and mission in the basketball space. When myself and my co-founder Darnell Jones, we noticed there was a gap with kids and having access to functional skill development products that help them excel their performance. So we created our first patented product, which is an anti-grip weighted basketball glove that basically helps athletes improve their hand-eye coordination, hand speed, ball handling control, strengthen hand and arm muscles, and their kinetic chain. Well, once we created that first pathway into basketball, we quickly then realized that we had a product, the core of our product could scale across multiple sports. So we then created a line of weighted gloves that changed based on the ergonomics of the sport that you play. Then we created other products that fit into the realm of speed, resistance, control across those multiple sports. So now we have 12 products. 4 patented products. We are launching our Pro Makers app, which is a live stream multi-sports training app. And our ultimate goal is to have connected technology where we have smart sporting goods, where we're actually able to give data back to consumers on what was your increased velocity, your hand speed, your miles per hour while running in our patented power suit. So that is the goal with the global mission.
Wow. Now, I have been through the website. My husband said, she's Power Hands. My husband had heard of you because
Oh,
but he is he's a sports fanatic. Anybody in this really into sports, I think I've heard of you. And when I've read that you are a global brand reaching over 86 countries, I said, my gosh, that is favor. But you have so many services you provide, not just to athletes. Can you tell me about the rehabilitation services and some of the other services that you provide? I have studied, I've read that. I didn't know. I did my homework. I'm like, look at all that she's doing for the community in this company, not just athletes, but rehab. I really want you to talk about the other services that you really are phenomenal at providing other people.
Nessa, thank you so much for reading that and pausing on that. Our rehabilitation, there's an organic side and there is a very intentional side that we're developing. The organic side is with our product line that we have because we have a simple science that is based on weight resistance and improves grip strength and dexterity, that improves muscle strength. It automatically fits into the realm of rehabilitation when there's an injury that has occurred. Our goal is to reduce the risk of injury when you're using our product line. So there are people today that use our product line when they're in rehab, and they, of course, are using it to reduce the risk of injury. The intentional rehabilitation studies that we're doing are based on any hand and arm, upper extremity issues. So it could be something that is based on an orthopedic injury or a neurologic injury like a stroke, right? Or someone who is disabled. And when I mentioned disabled to the extreme that they have lost their grip strength, they're in a wheelchair. They need help strengthening their dexterity in those limbs. We're doing studies and working with just so amazing. I have to give Jose and Bethany a shout out with the Able Faith community, where they do focus on those with disabilities. And when I tell you, I mean, just the ultimate disabilities. And we are doing some collaboration on how we can impact them from a healthcare side.
Wow, and I'm thinking because as a former caregiver of my dad who passed in 2019, he was a stroke victim.
Oh,
He
wow.
lost his power on his left side of his body. So I was thinking to myself, this could eventually even help stroke victims and other people of medical. Because I wish 7, 8 years ago, when I was a full time caregiver of both parents, that I had what you're talking about right now. That's very, very powerful. I think as a caregiver, because, stroke victims have, they trying to regain that strength in their hands and their limbs. And my father went through hours and hours and hours of rehab. And yet he didn't have anything like what you're talking about right now, what you're creating and innovate. That is so powerful. I'm sorry.
Thank
That
you,
really is
Nessa.
powerful
Well,
for
that
me.
and that makes my heart happy, and I have to give credit to something that Jose just said because you were a caregiver. We were just on a conference call, and he said, as we were talking about, our innovation and how it impacts, from a stroke victim or someone who, has Parkinson's disease or someone that is completely disabled. We talked about the caregiver, right? And how not only do you help to strengthen the patient and bring their baseline up, but you also focus on the caregiver because you think about a caregiver who is lifting, right? Who is just doing regular motions of bringing food every day. I mean, just the strength of what it takes to be a caregiver. And so we're thinking from a comprehensive model perspective, how we not only touch the patient, but we touch the community and the people that support the patient as well.
Yes, and you can have injuries lifting a stroke victim off the floor that falls out of bed.
That's
Okay, so
right.
there's many, many different things. I think that's fabulous. Now, your vision was not that you were going to be in 86 countries. Is it more than 86 countries now?
I don't think it is. I haven't looked
That
recently,
was so
but I'll
phenomenal.
take the 86 countries because we were shocked when we looked at our analytics. And I mean, sports and fitness is an international language, so we now understand that. But when we look at our analytics, we have more than 200 countries that visit our website annually, and that just is shocking to me, and I'm just so humbled that we can serve and people understand and know about our products and brands to even take time to visit our website to find more.
Yes, and your website will be definitely listed under the broadcast
Thank you.
tonight because I think it's so powerful. And what struck me, because you can tell you're a visionary, because I read about your leadership style, your unique leadership team, and they fall into three categories: ambassador, advisors, and then founders. I've never seen, I've studied many people's websites, I interview a lot of people. That is very unique. So the development of that style and those categories of leaders, I'm sure that was your creation. How has that led to the success and the growth of your company and your team?
Well, it's like when you think about, of course, when you talk about leadership, right? And people say, you need advocates and advisors. And so when you think about brand advisors, brand ambassadors, advisors within our company, you want to look at, a brand ambassador is someone who has the muscle to influence, right? And that could be someone like our new ambassador, who's also a general partner, LaMelo Ball. Right, he is 20 years old. He was Rookie of the Year for the NBA, breakthrough athlete for ESPN. He has his following on Instagram is almost 7 million. He has the ability to influence, right? So a brand ambassador. When you look at an advisor, you want to have people on your team who have done things and made mistakes that you don't want to repeat and can take you where you want to go because they've already been there. And that's what our advisors bring, that wisdom to help us escalate faster and knock down doors that we can't knock down ourselves.
Mm. Yes, and I think your model is so powerful that I've known other executives and looked at their. I was like, wow, this model, your the way you break it down could be a model for other leaders. I really do believe that because it's very wise. So you're learning from people who've already done it, and then you have people who have a greater platform even than you have who can influence others.
That's right.
That's called God's wisdom. Anyway,
That's
I
right.
want to get to your at the core of your heart as a Christian. I know is giving and community. And I read that. I said, this is so powerful. I want you to talk about the power to give foundation. When did you found that? What is the purpose? And who are you reaching with that foundation?
No, thank you so much for asking. And Nessa, I so appreciate you for doing research. Look at you.
Oh,
Um,
you have to. You can't come. You can't come. No, not with the powerful woman of God. You got to be correct. I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate
Yes.
that. The Power to Give Foundation, you know, day one, we decided as a team that we didn't want to make a choice between making profits and doing good in the community. So I will never forget, we were at our board meeting with our first round of investors, and we said, not only, of course, is Power Hands going to accomplish X, but we're going to do it while giving back through our nonprofit, which is the Power to Give Foundation. And one of the investors turned around and he said, well, how much are we going to give each year? I said, well, it is going to depend, but we're not going to worry about how much we're going to give. We're simply going to serve. When
Hmm.
every product that is sold, a percentage goes towards giving back to underserved communities because we believe and know in the lifelong lessons that you can get through when academics and athletic programming is instilled in the community. It builds the community. And so that's what we've done for 7 years. We have not skipped a beat every single year, pouring programming through the Power to Give. And we have done things like dream courts and providing skill development equipment for kids in underserved communities with Nancy Lieberman Charity Foundation, with the NBA Cares, with NFL camps and clinics that we've provided. We hosted, had a vision for the Power of the Dream dinner where we had over 40 NFL draft athletes to talk to them about, okay, so, this is going to be a huge step for you. So how do you truly make an impact? What does your brand look like? What do you do from a contract perspective with your money, right? How do you create legacy? Just a host of things. We have given back to people that have contacted us and said, wow, I love your innovation, but I cannot afford it. We have done breast cancer awareness, which is coming up in October, through our Power to Fight gloves and giving that way. So we will continue to serve through our Power to Give Foundation. And we just did She Is Why on my birthday. We fight through the foundation for social issues. As you know, there are inequalities that exist for women athletes and in entertainment. And we had a platform to pour into those individuals, as well as other women that joined us to get educated as to what their strength is and why she is why. So that was pretty powerful.
That's powerful. Two more questions, and I'm gonna
Yep.
let you go.
Yep.
Look, I know that you mentor as well women entrepreneurs. At least you just mentioned women. And you know what? How can you tell me about your mentorship of other women leaders or women entrepreneurs briefly?
Yeah. So, and it's funny. Remember, I told you that I'm very casual today, and I have this shirt on that says, girls can do anything. The mentoring that we do is simply to make sure that we take care of the next generation, that the next generation of girls and women, right, they won't have to go through the struggles and obstacles to get to their brilliance, right? It took me a while to understand how to bring my brilliance to the table. I want my daughter to bring her brilliance to the table every day. So that mentoring, teaching, and coaching that I do with girls through the Bold Foundation, with my board seat for junior achievement, all the way up to women entrepreneurs that I talk to every day and support. It is all about, how do we understand our worth and explode with our gifts so that our brilliance is always shining to get to something that is greater than us. Our brilliance isn't shining so that Danyel can be in on stage and lights, camera, and action. It's shining so that God can show. We can show how awesome He is and be a testimony for His goodness and grace, and of course, bring others into that amazing spiritual ecosystem that we're a part of.
Wow, so powerful, so powerful. Two. Well, I said two before. This is the second to last because you're an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you're a mother. How do you balance it all?
I used to have this phrase that my balance is my imbalance. And I do believe that. I do believe that um, a woman like myself, I'm going to always go through transition. And I manage it by thinking that way because I'm an overachiever. And if I don't think about my life in transition, then I will always have guilt associated with what I wish I could do, what I wish I had time to do, or that I'm not that, pendulum isn't perfectly balanced, right? So I integrate balance now. And I do take those moments to pause. Like I told you, I'm not on social media right now.
Mhm.
I realize when I have to eliminate things and I prioritize. I realize when, I can't brunch. I realize when I can't, just do some of the things that may have been a part of last season. And I have to be okay with it in my heart. So that's really how I'm integrating balance now. And especially, during this time, what we learned, our mental health is so important, Nessa. And so,
Mhm.
truly, women wear so many hats, and there's so many women that are suffering silently because they're trying to do so much. And so, my advice to any woman who wears the hats that I wear and who wears more hats, you don't have to do it all. That doesn't mean that you're less of a superwoman. It actually means you're powerful in understanding how to say no and how to pivot and shift away from things that are not a part of that season.
Wow. You know what? You have such words of wisdom. You're gonna listen to this back. You are such you I don't think you know the words, the whole from first question all the way through. Everything has been such words of wisdom coming out of your mouth. It's phenomenal. That's true. You don't have to do it all. And I think of a good friend of mine, Michelle in Jersey, who has Women of Power and Transformation organization. Because she
Mm,
used to be an overworked person until she went away to a retreat. She was a workaholic. So she formed an organization just for workaholics called Women of Power and
wow,
Transformation. I thought about her when you were talking. She said, I used to try to do it all. But God said, I don't have to do it all. Only do what He leads me to do.
that's
And
right.
guess what? I know how to you have to take care of yourself. And I used to be a workaholic as well in corporate America years ago. And I said to myself, I can't, I need time for me because you can't pour into anybody else when you're on empty.
No,
And
you
that's the whole
can't.
truth. And
That is,
that is true because
yeah,
I used to be on burnout trying to give to someone else. I'm like, I have to have time for me, God,
that's right.
family, and you have to have priorities in your life and know when to say no. And
That's
it
right.
took me a long time to learn how to say no. And now I learned how to say no. And my
Well,
final
when you have
question,
a servant's heart, that's hard to
yeah,
do, right?
it's,
Because yeah, you want to give that joy and that
it's
energy of that.
hard to say no. And
It's hard. Yeah.
yes. And you know what? Because you're such a leader of many, many years, I want your final question to be any words of wisdom for inspiring aspiring entrepreneurs. They have a vision, they have an idea, they just haven't taken a leap of faith yet. Any words of wisdom for leaders and entrepreneurs to be?
Yeah. So I would say dream bigger than your dreams. Dream bigger than your dreams. And that just, came to me because I think about the dreams that I had, and if I would have just dreamed bigger, like I'm dreaming now, and I push myself to dream even bigger, and it's really based upon exposure. It's really based upon reading. It's really based upon mentorship, getting involved in things that are outside of what your normal ecosystem and realm of reality is, right? So dream bigger than your dreams.
Wow, that's powerful. You know what, Danielle Surrency Jones, I just think finally we got to meet and chat. And I
No,
am
thank
grateful
you.
because, you're a very powerful woman. Now I see what Cheryl was talking about months ago.
Oh,
She said
Cheryl's
you
sweetheart.
were the first people she mentioned. I said, okay, let me check that schedule because I knew. And you have the greatest assistant, and I think she's wonderful. And
Stacy is
and
awesome. Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? This woman wears many hats, but I thank you for taking the time. today because I know it's a lot. That means something to me because you didn't
Well,
have to do it. Just like God didn't have to wake us up this morning. You could have said, Vanessa, girl, I got calls and other stuff going on.
no,
Yeah,
my commitment
I'm very
was
grateful.
my
I'm
commitment was to
grateful.
you, and this is where I needed to be. So thank you,
And
and
thank you.
absolutely, and I
Your
wish
words of
you.
wisdom are really, really, you just don't understand the words of wisdom that came out of your mouth. And I'm going to rewatch this, and this will be shared with the masses on YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify. And
Thank
so
you,
this woman is powerful, and I want people to reach out to you through your organization.
thank you,
POWERHANDZ website will be listed,
thank
and
you,
get in touch with. You're doing such innovative things, and I think I'm really touched because of the rehabilitation part and the giving that your organization it instantly gives. You're like tithing into other people's lives as you build your legacy. You're giving and sowing into other people's lives. So this, therefore, you're going to reap even greater rewards. It's going to
thank
get
you so
even
much.
bigger.
Uh,
Yeah, because it's a spiritual principle. So you know you're going to even have even more favor because of what you're doing and sowing every day into other people's lives.
Nessa, if I could wake up every day and wear just a white robe and just go from house to house, community to community, and serve and pour my heart to people, to help them understand what their best is and live a better life. And I didn't have to worry about anything else. That would be my heart's desire. And I would actually bottle that up and travel the world and give that to as many people as I could, right? So that is what my inspiration is every day through POWERHANDZ, through being a mother, through being a wife, a friend, etc., is really living out that vision of serving. Not saying that I do a great job of that every day, but God knows my heart, and I appreciate that.
I
Yeah,
think you're doing an awesome job, and I want to make sure people know how to reach you, and they will. And I hope to stay in touch.
thank you.
And anything that you need, I love to volunteer and give too. We might be on different parts of the country, but it still can stay in touch and
Thank
reach
you,
out.
Nessa.
And anything you need, from the East Coast, just let me know,
I
okay?
got
And I'm
oh, and
thanks.
a quick shout out. Happy
Yes.
birthday to my sister, Donna Stoney, and happy birthday to my other sister from another mother, Stephine Talaka.
Okay, and thank you for your service and your wisdom and your leadership. And I just know it's greater, even greater things to come for you because you have a servant's heart.
Thank you, Nessa.
And
So
thank you for
appreciate
your
you.
time. Okay,
Thank
and I
you.
love you for just saying yes and honoring me with your presence because I really believe you're a great woman of God and a leader, and I think greater things are to come. And so I thank you and Cheryl. And Cheryl is a gem, and I can see why you all are good friends because you both have a servant's heart. So
Thank you
thank you
so
for
much.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
love
and
you
be
as well,
blessed.
Nessa.
Okay, take care. Talk to
I
you
love
soon.
you. Okay, take care.